Welcome back to the show, everyone. Glad you could join me here today for today's Total Wellness Tuesday. And the topic is going to be how to get well when nothing works. And the reason why today's show came about, because it's always listener-generated content, is that I've had a lot of people write in saying, I've tried this, I've tried that, I did this protocol, I can only eat 6 foods, I still have bloating, or I'm doing well while I'm on the protocol and then I start to come off and I don't feel as well, or I do well for about 6 weeks period of time and then I don't do well and I can't take any nutritional supplements because they all cause me some type of immune-based reaction. It's like everything, right? Everything under the sun. And honestly, we've seen now almost 300,000 client appointments. We have one of the largest practices in the world, and I don't say that to impress anything upon you, and there's nothing at all for sale. I mean that. But here's what I want to share with you. There is always an answer. If I can leave you with one thing today as I'm going through all of this material, is there's always an answer. Everyone can and will get well if they begin to work the process that I'm going to share with you here today. And so whether you've been at this for a decade, like I was from 17 years old to 27, I couldn't get well no matter what I tried. I saw over 50 different practitioners, over 24 medical doctors and specialists. I would get well for a little while and then I would relapse. And it was so depressing. I mean, it really was like, okay, I'm getting better. I feel great. And then no, relapse again. And you have to realize is that even back then, when I thought I was doing everything correct, I thought I tried everything, I thought I saw every practitioner, there was still an answer. I just hadn't found it. And when I did meet my mentor, Dr. Pete, and this was at 27 years old, I was frustrated. But again, I just sat down and I said, okay, I need help. I think that I know it all. At 27 years old, I had already read a couple thousand books. I mean, literally. I had over a dozen certifications in nutrition and exercise science and personal training and certified sports conditioning, like literally. And I'm like, but I'm still not better. So it just must be my genetics, just like everybody else says. And I believe the reason why she was able to help me when other people weren't is because she was able to do it in an unassuming way where I allowed my guard to be let down. And I just said, I'm going to listen and I'm going to do what she says. And she simplified it, which I think was important for me because I like to look at complex things. And she brought everything together. But what I want to share with you is much of what I've learned from that experience, and obviously now being completely healed many years later, that anybody can get well. So if I had Addison's disease, which is you just don't produce cortisol, you literally do not produce cortisol, primary Addison's disease, and I had POTS and I had mastocytosis, massive allergies, I had insomnia, I had heartburn, I had insomnia, I had rheumatoid arthritis, I had type 2 diabetes. If I had all of these things, and I'm well today, more energy than I've ever had, and I keep getting older and older, so they tell me, right, chronologically, you can get well. That's the thing, is like you just can. You can. So I want to share with you how to do that, but I also am going to keep this podcast short. And it's because I could talk on this for a week seminar, but that's not going to help the majority of people. The majority of people, all the people we see in our practice as well, and integrative health practitioners see, they need a plan. They need an outline, and then they need to work the outline. So the first step is this, and I'm going to spend almost no time on it. I'm going to spend the time on where people get stuck, all right? Because a lot of people have done lab testing. What I just want to share with you is this. Blood testing is not lab testing. Blood testing is blood testing, and it's fantastic. It really is. Everybody should have their blood work done at least once a year with their medical doctor or a functional medicine doctor, and it's great. But it doesn't tell you everything because it tells you what's in the blood. And you might say, well, that seems pretty obvious, right? But here's the thing. You're not going to find gut dysfunction. You're not going to find true, free hormonal levels. You're not going to find a lot of the things that you need in terms of toxicity in your blood. So please do run your blood. But also, don't forget where 80% of the immune system is in and around, and that's your 26 feet of digestive tract. Look at your gut function. 100% look at digestive function. Look at your hormones. Not cortisol on a blood test. That's fine, but it gives you a snapshot in time. Look at it upon waking. Nobody has their blood drawn upon waking. Like literally no one. Because the phlebotomist would need to be at your home at 6:30 a.m. or whatever it is when you wake up. Because it has to be at that 30-minute mark within 30 minutes. That's your cortisol awakening response. Are you checking that? If not, what are you doing? Oh, you do your blood work at 10 a.m. fasted. Okay, well, it's 10 a.m. You want to look at your cortisol over the course of 24 hours. You want to look at your thyroid first thing in the morning. So do you have a phlebotomist in your home at 6:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. when you wake up? If not, well, it's not your peak thyroid from when you're waking. Same with estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA. And again, just want to state this up front. You can run these labs with an integrative health practitioner level 2, anyone you want. And you can go to ihp.coach/practitioners. Choose anyone you want. You do not have to work with us. You can also work with a naturopathic doctor to run these labs too, the one that specializes in this. I'm not going to go through all the lab testing with you here today, just because I have 1,000 podcasts on that. But I want to say to you, you need to look deeper as to what the underlying root causes are. You will find deficiencies and you will find toxicities. Your job is to raise up those deficiencies. You're low in B6? Easy. Get a little bit more B6. You're low in vitamin C? Easy. We increase your vitamin C, right? Okay, we can do that. That's the easy part. Omega-3s, phosphorus, whatever you need, right? We can do that. Okay. Now you have toxicities. Are they heavy metals? Are they things like benzene, triclosan, organopesticides, VOCs? Like what are they? Those have to be eliminated. Why? They're creating constant inflammation in your body all day long. Higher levels of estrogen, that's a toxicity. Do we need to lower estrogen? Okay, how do we do that? Well, is it liver-based? Is there liver congestion with estrogen? You're producing too much estrogen? We have to figure out the reason, okay? Then we remove that toxicity. All right, so that's what we do. But how do we do that? Well, you do it through specific protocols. This is where it starts to get interesting, right? So if you're working with a qualified practitioner, they will figure out what your deficiencies are based on your at-home lab testing. You can still run blood work. I run my own blood work twice a year. I'm a believer in it. I just don't expect it to look at a deeper level of why I am where I am, right? So blood work is a homeostatic fluid. Shows you what's in your blood at that moment. Your blood will take things from your bones. It will take things from whatever in order to stay balanced. That's how it works. If you're imbalanced, then you have a disease. Trust me though, that is late stage. You could find those issues that lead to dis-ease in the body years earlier. Finally, conventional medicine start to figure this out with a whole lot of other tests, but you can do it very easily with at-home lab testing. Again, see your local integrative health practitioner or any integrative health practitioner level 2 that does virtual work or a naturopathic doctor. You can work with us if you'd like, but you don't have to. Okay, so the next part is you begin a protocol. Let's say you have gut issues, okay? You have gut issues, you found yeast overgrowth, you found bacterial overgrowth. Okay, so we're doing this CBO protocol. Okay, so we're doing the CBO protocol. You can call it whatever you want. You can do any protocol in the world, but this is where people get stuck. So they did the right thing. They pinpointed what their issues were. They do the CBO protocol, and they're doing the CBO protocol. And now, let's say they were doing great for the first 4 weeks, feeling remarkably better. Then in week 5, they're like, oh, I'm getting the bloating back again. This doesn't work. What's wrong? Here's the problem. This is where people stop. This is why people don't get well. So that's the point of today's show. It's that you are not necessarily on the wrong protocol. It's work for hundreds of thousands of other people. So are you just different? Most of us think we are. I thought I was. I thought I was so unique that I needed like this just 1 in 8 billion protocol created just for me. What I realized was that the protocols that work. They may need to be just tweaked a little bit for me based on where I am. But the problem is the person who now stumbled in week 5 never contacted their integrative health practitioner or their naturopathic doctor. And because of that, they just stopped when they were getting so close to the finish line. Because most likely, all that person needed to do was figure out the 1 or 2 variables that caused them to slide backwards. And I want to share that with you right now. This makes all the difference in the world. So, something like the CBO protocol, Once you get past that third week into the fourth week, you can start to add in and introduce new foods. Okay. If you introduce new foods and you were fine during week 4, but you weren't fine during week 5, and you switch nutritional supplements because they switch each month to maintain the effectiveness, which is why it's one of the reasons why it's so unique and it works so well, and it's been proven over the past decade, is that you may have introduced other foods as well, but you blamed it on the nutritional supplements. Now I'm going to get to the nutritional supplements in a moment because it could be those, okay? So that same week, you just added in a little bit more grapes, or you added in a little bit more garlic, and it started to cause bloating. Right? And we blamed on the nutritional supplements because we said, well, it can't be grapes, right? Can't be grapes. I've eaten grapes before and they didn't cause bloating. Well, now they do, right? Because sometimes it is not the food itself or the supplement itself, it is the dosage. That is part of the rain barrel effect. So a little bit, oh, you fill it up 3/4 of the way. A little bit more, now it overflows. Your body was not able to tolerate that little bit more. So what do? Well, you speak to a practitioner. The practitioner says, what were your new food introductions? And you say, I don't know. I just kept everything the same. Nothing's new. And then once we get past the anxiety that we all have, believe me, I've been here before, right? So I understand. And we say, okay, let's just think back. What were you typically having for the first 3 weeks of the CBO? And you go, this, and this. Okay, good. What new things did you add on besides those 3 things in the last couple of weeks? And you're like, oh, you know what? I did actually have a little bit of coconut ice cream. Okay. Yeah, coconut milk is okay, but the coconut milk ice cream, maybe not so much, right? Oh, it has xanthan gum, it has this, it has that. All right, well, that could be it. Here's what I want you to do. Keep going like you're going right now. Take out the coconut ice cream and the garlic. Those are the 2 new introductions. Email me in 1 week. Let me know if that bloating is gone. They write you back. Bloating's gone. That's what it was. Fantastic. Great. Now we could say, hey, every once in a while, once a week, you want a little treat, a little coconut ice cream? Try it this coming Saturday if you'd like. You're totally your choice. You don't have to eat it. See if it gives you bloating. Now, it could just be combined with a certain meal or it could be on its own. No, it didn't. Okay. Well, next week, let's try the garlic. Try the garlic. Yeah, the garlic caused the bloating. Okay. Doesn't mean garlic will always cause bloating, but for right now, we're eliminating garlic. So that's a possibility. The other possibility on something like the CBO protocol is, all right, you get to week 5, the nutritional supplements change to keep increasing the effectiveness. And now all of a sudden, you've got loose stool, or you have a little bit of a skin rash, you've got a headache, you've got, and again, this is 1 out of 100, but let's just say it is, right? Because it still happens. So what do? Do you say it stopped working? No, you don't. That can be a Herxheimer reaction because they get stronger as the months progress. So what happens? Well, here's what we need to do. We don't need to say that it didn't work. We just say it may have worked too much. So what do? We stop. We stop for 3 days. If it's just the nutritional supplements, we stop the nutritional supplements for the 3 days. If you don't get better in 3 days, it's not most likely not the nutritional supplements. I mean, we're talking about water-soluble nutrients. Probably not it. So that's a different story. Then we look at food, or we look at stress, or we look at other factors that changed. But if we believe it's the nutritional supplements, we stop for 3 days. Okay, let's say it's that. Then the client says, yeah, you're right. I don't have any more. I don't know. Let's just go with 1. Let's go with loose stool. All right. I don't have any more loose stool. All right. Good. But again, you have to reach out to your practitioner, whoever you're working with, to let them know these things happened. All right. And 1 day is not typically it. If it's happening multiple days, yes, reach out. You need to do that because you're only typically a tweak away, a variable away from having it work. So now with this client, what do? Well, there's 3 nutritional supplements each month as part of the CBO protocol. A biofilm disruptor, a antimicrobial, right? So herbal-based, anti-yeast, antifungal, antibacteria-based ones. And then there is, at least in the second month, some type of specifically designed probiotic. Okay, so here's what we do. We work from least egregious to potentially most egregious. So we add in just the biofilm disruptor, and we only do 1 capsule. And you say, yeah, but won't it take longer to complete? And the answer is yes, but we're going to do it and it's going to work. Right? So it may take longer, but what's the end goal? I mean, listen to yesterday's show. The end goal is what you want. No more bloating, no more digestive issues, right? No more cramping, no more pain, none of that. Okay. So we add in the biofilm disruptor, no issues with with day 1, adding in, no with 2. Okay, good. So after 3 days, we add in a second capsule. Then by the end of the week, we get to all 4 capsules. No issues, good. It wasn't the biofilm disruptor. So then we add in the antimicrobial. We add in the antimicrobial with just one. And we do that over the same course of the week. After 3 days, we go to 2, right? We do them before bed. Then we do the ones in the morning. Okay, then there's no issues. Good. So then we add in the probiotic. And this specific probiotic, single strain for the small intestine, we add it in. And there's 2 outcomes. One, you get bloated maybe from the first or the second capsule, and you say, okay, it was the probiotic. It was adding in the bacteria. Your body's not yet ready yet for this good bacteria. That's one possibility. Or the second is, there's actually 3. The second is you add in the capsule and you feel fine at one, but the second one doesn't feel good. Okay, maybe it's the one in the morning that doesn't feel good. So then we take both capsules and we move them before bed. Oh, that solves everything. No issues when I take them before bed. You see, it's just changing the variables that we can make unique for you. And the third is this, that you add the single strain probiotic back in month 1, and there's no issue there either. And you're still feeling good. So the person's like, well, what was it then? Here's the thing. We just eased the program in for your body. Your body just went too fast. That's it. Very sensitive people can have issues with herbs or nutritional supplements or probiotics because their body gets overwhelmed by it. I'm not going to go into it in today's show. It's called dysautonomia. I had it myself for a decade. It's conventional medicine never talks about it, but it's a real thing. Your body's just far more sensitive. It's more what's called Th2 dominant. So I get it. I understand. But that's called titration. You just slowly add it in. We do it for kids automatically because we don't know how their body's going to react, and we just play it even safer. But for adults, we're using completely safe. Again, this is just an example of nutritional supplements, but that's all it is. And so now if you know that you can always figure out the variable. You can always figure out the issue. I mean, that's the bottom line. And let's say it was the antimicrobial. Okay, maybe you have an unknown issue with oregano oil or clove. All we do, again, if you're working with practitioners, you then find a different product for you that does not have that ingredient. We just keep it simpler. We go single ingredient product. Is it as effective as the, excuse me, one of the antimicrobials? Maybe, maybe not. But if you can't use the product, it does you no good. So we use a different product, and we may just have to use it a little bit longer, but we can still get the same result. I bring this up to you because we see the hardest of the hard cases. The people write in every day, have you ever worked with someone with this? The answer is yes, but the other answer is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we've ever worked with that thing or not, because we are not treating disease. We are not treating the name of your disease. I would never have overcome Addison's disease or rheumatoid arthritis or any of these things if I was ever trying to work with a practitioner that treated the disease, because they would just be masking then the symptoms. The way that I got well, the way that we help people get well, is by working on the underlying root causes that allow for the disease in the first place. I didn't have Addison's disease or autoimmune issues or mastocytosis when I was 6 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, 14 years old, 16 years old. I had it and got it when I was 17. I had the same genetics. I filled up my rain barrel. I did a lot of things unknowingly to get myself sick. And then I had it for 10 years. I didn't have to have it for 10 years, but I didn't meet anybody until 27 years old that was able to pull together the whole picture. When I had someone that was able to do the lab testing, plus begin to integrate protocols, not supplements, but protocols with an Ayurvedic-based mindset as well, I got well. So it's pulling it all together, but it's also having someone there that can make the adjustments and find the variables to change. I want to move off of nutritional supplements and health there for a moment, because I want you to be able to apply this to any area of your life. You have to understand is that your exercise program, your nutrition plan, it's the exact same thing. If you begin an exercise program and you are totally exhausted from it, well, is it the exercise program's fault? Maybe. Maybe. You might not have been following that GEP protocol that I talk about. You may not have been progressing properly, right? But if it's weight training, well, if you did 3 sets and it was your first time trying it, you probably did too much. If you do one set and you're still sore from that weight training, you do body weight. If you're still sore from body weight, that's a different story, right? But we need to progress the variables. It's the same thing as the CBO protocol I just shared with you. You went, you're excited, you met with a personal trainer, you worked out with a friend, and you did a 45-minute all-out workout. And now you're completely exhausted and you're in a lot of pain. You did too much. It was too great of a change too quickly in your body. But what people don't want to do is go to the gym and do one set their first workout because they feel like they're not doing enough. Well, the issue is one workout doesn't create any change. It's an accumulation of exercise that gives you the benefits. One great meal doesn't do a whole lot of benefit. It's an accumulation of really great eating over time that provides those health benefits. So all I want to do was share with you today that if you are working with a practitioner that has done this for a number of years, or they're following a protocol that has been used for a number of years, or a personal trainer, or a nutritionist, or a muscular therapist, or a chiropractor, or whoever is going to help you accomplish your goal, most likely their protocols work. That's the truth. Like, most likely they work. But when you go to use them and something's a little off, if you share that with your practitioner, instead of just stop, they will most likely be able to make the right adjustments for you. But you have to know what adjustments to make. And that's what it comes back to, at least figuring out if it's a health-based issue. If you can't lose weight, well, what are the metabolism issues, right? Where's the inflammation coming from if there's any type of dis-ease in the body? We need to pinpoint what the deficiencies and the toxicities are. Then we need to begin not a supplement, but a protocol that's lifestyle-based, nutrition-based, movement-based, nutritional supplement-based, that has all of that combined. And then if you hit a roadblock, your practitioner should know how to tweak the protocol for you or program based on what it is on the variables that changed. So if you changed in any way, you need to just, all your part is this, write down what you're doing. That's it. And you don't need to write down every morsel, but you need to write down the nutrition plan if you're trying to get well, just in the beginning. Then if you hit an obstacle, you know what you were doing when you were doing well. You went off, what changed? Supplement, sleep, stress, food, like what changed? Because that's the only way that you're getting well. But the nice thing is you will get well this way. There's no doubt about it. Because if you did not have these issues when you're 8 years old, then we can't blame it on a congenital-based health issue, right? We can for some, but it's such a small part of the population. Listen, my genetics are not great in terms of health. They're just not. Okay, big deal. I got sick. That was a big deal. But now I'm better, and I can say big deal, right? Because I still have the same genetics. I have to work harder, no doubt about it, than other people to stay healthy. But I do stay healthy, healthier than pretty much everybody I know. A lot more energy than pretty much anybody I know. I work at it. I had to work at it. It didn't work for 10 years, but then it did. And I just know that you're going to be able to accomplish the same thing. So if you haven't found the right practitioner for you, reach out and find that person. Because you just can't learn enough unless this is your profession in time to be able to fix all your problems within the next year. So you might as well work with an expert in the space. Find a local naturopathic doctor if you'd like to work with someone in person. If you want to work with someone virtually, reach out to an integrative health practitioner, level 2 if you want to run those labs. I'm always happy to answer your questions, but again, you don't need to work with my team. You can work with someone who follows the same type of practice and protocol. The people that I mentioned typically are the only ones in the space that are able to do this. I believe in you. I know that you can do this. If there's ever any questions, reach out. I'm happy to help you with that first step. Take care, everyone. As always, if the show is helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve.